Hello, 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 and welcome. Just want to make sure it is showing on YouTube. Oh, you know what? I need to turn this off.
Hello, hello,
Yes, because
hello.
it'll do that. All right, here we go, because YouTube is behind me and I always forget that. Okay, day 5 of Align. This is the planning day. And if you're watching this, I'm very proud of you because this is the one that everybody wants to skip. Because here's the biggest mistake that folks do when they're trying to make a change in their life, and particularly in this case, like change some habits, start a yoga practice, is the mistake is we think it's just going to happen. And then we get irritated with ourselves when it doesn't happen. So, and if it was that easy, you would already be doing it. And maybe you have done it for a while and you've kind of fell off the wagon, fell off track. It's a good idea to look back and sort of think what was the reason so that you can get back on. Maybe you've been doing fine. Maybe some of you have been using whatever resources you have, YouTube or whatever you use, but now there's something like you're taking it up a notch. So that's what we're going to talk about. How to plan. I'm going to ask you some questions. And really, this is about you looking at your life, your character, your tendencies, your likes, your dislikes. And I'm going to be asking you the questions for you then to plan and strategize for yourself. The other mistake we make all the time is it's not a mistake. You can put on someone else's plan or someone else's strategy. You can sort of mirror someone for a while. But unless you actually make it your own, it's not going to stick. And so that's another mistake we make. And I talked about the first couple of days about how we as interpreters um, know that this work is hard on our body, but then we don't do anything to change that. Partially because we just don't have the information. So hopefully over the last 5 days, you have found 1 to 3 things that have made a difference in your life over the last really it's we started on oh I don't remember what date we started, but it's over like the last 10 days. And purposely put it over the holiday where there would be natural hiccups and to just see if you noticed what happened during that time. It's not an easy time to stick to a new plan, but it's also a time when you have more time, right? You probably working less, um, or the work was quieter. All right, so over the align period, let's call it 10 days. Can't remember. I think it's 10 or 12 days. What is the thing that really just went ping, resonated for you? Like you immediately connected to something I shared and you practiced it and it really worked for you. What is that? Write that down. And then over the last 10 days, I want you to write down one to as many, but at least one thing you did that you want to celebrate. Could have been one, you could have practiced the sequence that we did. You could have replayed one of the videos. You could have used the link to the PDF, or it's not a PDF, but online pictorial sequence. You adjusted your sleep. You adjusted your eating habits. You did Abhyanga, the self body massage. What's one thing to celebrate? This is also a mistake we make, and that we don't celebrate what we do. I can tell you that the interpreters I work with one on one in the Thrive program, which I'll tell you a little bit more about at the end if you want to stay for that. Every week I'll ask them and they'll say, I didn't do anything. Didn't do it. It was a terrible week. I'm a terrible person. I'm an awful. And I'll ask more questions and guess what? They did do something, but they don't recognize it. So what's one or more? I'm not going to give a limit. You can do 10, 20 things that you did really that you want to celebrate. Something you don't normally do that you want to celebrate, or something that you do, but you did it more consistently. All right. Next question. What obstacles did you meet over these last 10 to 12 days? Were they external obstacles? Are these new external obstacles or are they often? Can you categorize these obstacles like they're work related, family related, health related, or you can just categorize these obstacles as internal or external and get really honest with yourself that the internal obstacles are not external obstacles. It's very easy for us to sort of say it's an external obstacle and then sort of like abdicate all ability to change it. You're just, that makes you so powerless. And that's not a powerful place to be. Why we don't want you powerless. What obstacles were internal? What obstacles were external? And then as you look at what you've written down, there may be some obstacles that were just non-negotiable. You know, they just, they were not, um, you would have to pivot if they came up. There was no choice about it. All right. Um, some emergency or some need from someone in your life that could not be filled by anybody else. Uh, I don't know. I live in a place where if you're out doing your shopping, say for instance, and you run into people you know, you stop and you talk. So you never know what might come up when you go out. So I always plan extra time. Um, okay, so internal obstacles, external obstacles. There are external obstacles that are negotiable, that are not um, fixed, that are not the some are avoidable, some are unavoidable. Can you categorize? Can you maybe have another color of your pen? You can circle the ones that are unavoidable or underline the ones that are unavoidable. And then on the internal obstacles, this use just to become aware of those obstacles that come up from inside. I mean, they could be fear. They could be guilt. I'm saying emotions around it. It could be a sense of a perfectionism. You know, I don't want to do it if I can't do it perfectly. Um, um, or like I don't want to do it because I need to help others first. That's really internal. It's not, you know, are they really asking you? They might be asking you because you always say yes. Okay. Now, with these obstacles came up over the last 12 days, what did you do? Did you, I mean, we're kind of identifying them now, so you may not have identified them as obstacles. So we're kind of unearthing them a little bit, like an archaeologist, looking at them, getting curious about them. Is this an artifact I need to keep? Is it an artifact I can throw out? Um, but what did you do when an obstacle came around that either kept you on your trajectory, whatever your goal was to do that practice, to eat at that time, to get to to get to sleep a little bit earlier, to wake up a little bit earlier? What did you do to keep you on the track? What did you do that took you off your track? On those instances that it took you off your track, what could have you done? What are some other options? Think about it right now here, because here your brain can think creatively. In the moment, your brain is going to go into its habit because the brain doesn't want to do anything different. It's like, change, freak out. So it digs its heels in and it makes it feel like there's no choices. And I want you to leave today with choices. So, what obstacles came up? What did you do? What could you have done? While you're taking a little time here, I'm going to just go into the chat and see if there's anybody here live or on YouTube that has any comments or any questions. Okay. So, what really resonated with you? I'm just summarizing, going back and just giving you more time, but also what was the thing you did, what thing you learned, or thing you did this week that just really made sense, pinged with you, resonated, just, you know, felt great. What can you celebrate that you did do? What obstacles did you meet in these last 12 days? Of those, what were external, what were internal? And I'd make lists of those. And then when you look at those obstacles, I want you to really get curious about them and be determined to identify which ones were internal or external. Remembering it's easy to put it all on the outside because then it makes you feel like there's nothing I can do about it. But even the ones that are external, what what did you do when they came up? What could you have done? Because I want this what could you have done to give you more. I want you to have more options when you come to this place. You're at a fork in the road, and maybe over the last 12 days, there just wasn't any options. You know, I go right or left, that's it. And I'd like for you next time to have many more options. Or even maybe it was like you came to the end of the road, but now next time you'll see a lot more roads that come off that main road. It's not a dead end anymore. I hope that metaphor is working. All right. And then the last question is what well, I'm in two questions. What do you want to continue doing? Always start with something that you feel motivated to do, that you enjoy doing, and that you have proof that it's helpful to you. You can always build on from there. And then my last question is what do you need to continue? So, do you need to spend a little bit more time on this internal and external obstacle and thinking creatively of new ways? Do you need to really dig down? And we spoke about this, I believe it was in day 2, about the thought that's motivating you or unmotivating you, and to create an intentional thought that will help you stay where you are. Not a thought that is like an affirmation that you don't believe. I mean, an actual thought that you can get behind. Like, I'm willing to uh, continue doing fill in the blank for the entire year or for the next 3 months or for the next month. And then at the end of that month, I'll check in and see if that thought still exists, or see if that thought has led to actions that have better results. Maybe what you need is more support around you, the people in your life on the same path. Maybe you need a buddy who's doing it with you that you can check in with. Maybe you need more structure and more accountability, a coach or a teacher or a mentor. Maybe you need guidance. Maybe you need to sit down with your calendar and really write in exactly when and where, not leaving it up to chance. Okay, so what do you need to continue? And if right now you're sitting and you're like, meh, I don't know, well, then do you need to continue? Do you want to continue? Does your future self want you to continue with whatever you've chosen, right? I'm not labeling what it is, whether that's movement, whether that's changing your your eating habits or your sleep habits or all of it. What's your future self want? What's your future self want to be able to do? And those of you who like a little more structure, you can actually, some people are really motivated by saying, okay, not only am I willing to do X, fill in the blank for X amount of time, but I'm going to do it this day, this day, this day for this amount of time. You can go that nitty gritty. You know yourself, you know what, all of us have different types. Some of us are motivated by that structure. Some of us are like, don't, don't, what's the word I'm trying to think? Don't control me, but watch that because I'm one of those people and that'll lead me to not doing everything. So if you're someone who like doesn't just wants to throw caution to the wind and have everything be up to chance, I challenge you to get a little bit of routine. Not a lot, but just a little bit, and see how that feels. Okay, so that's your plan. And you can share in the Facebook group your plan, your answers to these questions. It'd be cool to see your colleagues, what they come up with. If you're live on YouTube, you can put it in the chat. If you're not in the Facebook group, but I believe everybody who's here is in the Facebook group, which is Thrive for Sign Language Interpreters. That's a great place to get support, accountability, and just be around like-minded folks. And then I'd love to take a moment to share the program that I offer if you want to know more about that. If you feel satisfied with what your plan, if you need a little bit more time to fill it out, but don't leave the 5-day event without having that plan, okay? Because I just want to say one more thing about kind of the mistakes that we do. I talked about external obstacles, but we also place a lot of responsibility on the outside. If the right program, the right plan, the right this, the right that, and it's always outside, outside, outside. And we never, and then we have perfectionism. So we never do it right, or it's never exactly what we need. I say take way more responsibility. What do you need? Because you've got it was like a little petri dish over the last 12 days of how you respond with learning something new, with implementing something new, with trying something out differently. How did you do? Right? Where were you great? Where did you kind of fumble? And how can you support yourself? All right, so that's that now, and that's the end of a line, if you will. Now I want to talk to you about my one-on-one private coaching program called Thrive. Yes, the Facebook's called Thrive too, but this is called Thrive as well. It's a full, complete, comprehensive, whole person tailored program for interpreters. And it is what I have found to be the most successful for interpreters. A really specialized tailored program that can combine both yoga asana and Ayurveda health coaching. So you have balance and alignment in your life. You learn how to live more in alignment with your own natural constitution as well as the seasons. And you have an asana practice that is structured and tailored for your needs, but also with not just the vision of where you are, but where you're going to go. So it's structured and progressive. Now, you may not know that in the beginning, but as your mentor, as your guide, as your coach through this, I hold that vision of you and we get you there. So we set specific goals and we work towards them. And then halfway through the program, we evaluate how we're doing, we make adjustments. So everybody comes to it with some different goals. Some people come to it with specific injuries or conditions or concerns. Some are physical, some are lifestyle, it runs the gamut. And that's why it can be tailorized to you. And it's 12, you work for 3 months weekly, preferably. And then you also get access 6 months to the entire wellness membership that I have, which includes group live classes, events such as this, courses that I've created just for interpreters that are pace that can be an additional support to you while we're working one-on-one. So you can be simultaneously following a course and then working one-on-one as well, depending on what your need is. And I help curate that. I help guide you to that. And it also includes access to the case consultation support group, which is the PSCIPI peer consult support project for interpreters format. And it's amazing. So it's a way to talk about our work that that addresses the whole person of who you are. So rather than just which is not unhelpful, but when we just kind of sometimes we just have to vent, right? But venting doesn't lead to growth. Venting doesn't necessarily lead to awareness. And a lot of us don't have really good support networks. So it's an incredible program based on 12 powerful questions that help you identify what is the values that you hold. When your body responds to something, that's really your truth. So becoming more aware, and the yoga helps you becoming more attuned to your own body's language and respecting and honoring that. So it's amazing. And so you get access to that group as well. We meet monthly, once a month, and it's off the charts, phenomenal. I wish I'd had it when I first started in this career. I think I would have avoided a lot of struggles, honestly, with this if I'd had this. So that is what you get in Thrive. And then right now, because the retreat is coming up in the summertime, the wellness and yoga retreat for interpreters, if you register for the yoga retreat, then you get a really incredible special rate on working one-on-one with me prior to the retreat, which makes your retreat that much more profound and transformative, because we know each other. I know you, we have the same language, and there's a trust and there's a confidence, and there's not a lot of settling in time, and we really get to go deep, and we get to do a lot on the retreat when you come prepared like that. So that is Thrive. And if you're interested in the details of that and whether that might be good for you, I'm going to um, add a link to schedule a consult call with me. This is where we can talk about where you are, where you want to go, and what the best way forward would be for you. I want to thank you for being here, and I want to congratulate you for doing whatever you were able to do during this event. And I wish you all the best. And I hope I see you soon in the consult call.